Thanks very much for watching. Now, one of the things that are really common at the very top of a resume, aside from your name and your contact details, is an objective statement or a profile statement or something of that like. Now, a lot of the problems with these statements is they actually don't say anything. Look, most people that put these objective statements on their resumes are not doing anything to tailor the statement to the role they're applying for or anything like that. It's just very much a sort of an exercise of a copy and paste, just piece of fluff sort of statement that doesn't really add any value to your resume. So rather than doing that, and look, that again is taking up space at the top of your resume where a reader is going to spend probably most of the time looking and assessing as to whether or not they can be bothered reading the rest of your resume. Now, you've heard the statement that a recruiter will read your resume within 8 seconds and make a decision as to whether or not they want to keep reading after that 8 seconds. Now, look, personally, I think it's a little bit longer than that. I think that's a bit of a worst case scenario if you happen to get a bit of an arrogant recruiter. But at the same time, look, you have to tailor, you have to sort of be prepared for that. So how do you get their attention? Certainly an objective or a profile statement isn't going to do it. When you start putting a paragraph of information together, it's unlikely people are going to want to read it. They're going to want to read bullet points, they're going to want to read short, concise statements. So what you can do, now, one of the things that we all talk about with resume writing is it's really important and more important to list your achievements than it is necessarily your tasks and duties, because the achievements, what your success has been, that's really important, and you should always make sure you're selling the successful work that you've done, the achievements that you've made, all that sort of stuff. So most people, and this is the way that it will happen traditionally, you'll put it under your work experience under each job that you've done. So you'll have sort of maybe key tasks and responsibilities or something like that, and key achievements or vice versa, and you'll list all of the great things that you've done. What I suggest, if you're going to be applying for jobs, and you should really tweak this on an individualised basis for every role that you're applying for, because every role, even if it's the same type of job, will be slightly different. There'll be slightly different requirements. So with the job ad there as well, so make sure you get a good idea of what they're looking for. Get rid of your objective statement or your profile statement or that sort of stuff, and just put on a heading, key highlights. And in the key highlights, list some of your key achievements. Now look, it's up to you whether you include them in your experience section as well. I don't think that hurts, because you're sort of plucking them out to try to grab the reader's attention at the very top of the resume. So there you want to make sure that you're listing achievements that are going to impress the employer based on what they're looking for. At the end of the day, you have to remember, any recruiter, any employer that's out advertising for people for a job vacancy, they have a problem, or the actual employer has a problem, because they can't do something without hiring another person. If they didn't have to hire somebody, they wouldn't, because it's a very costly exercise in terms of the direct cost of employing someone, paying them a salary, but also the indirect cost of training them, giving them the time to get up to speed, etc. So it's a costly exercise. So if they could do something with the existing infrastructure and human resources that they had without hiring, chances are they would. So bear in mind, they're looking for someone that can solve their problem. So in that highlight section, make sure that you're listing achievements and success stories that you've had, just in concise bullet points that are going to help show them how you solve their problem. And all you're going to need is sort of 5 or 6 of these points. If 3 or 4 is even going to be good enough, because you want to target it to what the employer is looking for. And that, I think, is going to be a lot more useful to you than an objective statement. And you'll have skills and key competencies and all those sorts of things that you can sort of look at as well. But I think at the very top of your resume, key highlights could be a great way to draw your reader in. Think about the foreword of a good book, or the introduction of a good book. They're wanting to do something, or the start of a movie. They want to draw you in, they want to engage you to keep you interested in what you're looking at. And it's the exact same thing when it comes to a resume, making sure that you can draw the reader in, get their attention, because that's going to make them want to pick up the phone and book an interview with you. So I really hope you found this useful, and I hope this tip really works for you. It's all trial and error with resumes, so what works for some won't work for others necessarily in terms of employers, so it's all about taste and all that sort of thing, and a person's approach. So, if it doesn't work on one, keep trying it, keep tweaking it, and see if you can get it working right for you. And, if you can get a job out of it, fantastic. So, again, hope you found it useful. If you have, please like the video. It'd be great if you could do that. And as always, feel free to drop me a line in the comments section down below.